So we are live now.
Yes.
Okay, a very good evening to everyone. I'm Vijay Shupuje, host for the day, and I'm here for this year's 2024's exams first YouTube live. And this is you're watching this live via Pharma Literati YouTube channel. And I'm privileged actually, to have my friend Siddharth Duggirala from the beautiful city of Hyderabad, who was also a student of mine for last year's patent agent exam preparation in the year 2023. To introduce Siddharth is an engineer by background, and he was, I would say, one of the students who was part of our theory classes for 2023 patent agent exam preparation. He was kind of, I would say, I used to call him a troubling kid in my class, actually, in all my theory classes as such. But then, so he had a lot of questions throughout the, uh, I would say, sessions or the classes that we conducted at that point of time. And many a times it was I must agree and tell on this public platform, Siddharth, that many times it was to a level of irritating as well. but then but then that was, I would say, part of the process as such. And when we actually got the results for 2023 patent agent exam, which was one, I would say, one of the toughest exams in the recent past. Siddharth cracked the exam. He not only cracked the exam, but he cracked the exam with flying colors, I would say. He scored whooping 89 marks in paper one and 81 marks in paper two, which is kind of aggregate of 170, which is highest in India in the theory. And then in Viva, surprisingly, he scored 38 marks, which took him to 208, again second highest in India as far as the score is concerned for patent agent exam. Siddharth also worked with one of the biggest IT company a long back, and currently he's based in Hyderabad. And in fact, I had that privilege to meet Siddharth in person in Hyderabad a few months back. And beyond the professional qualifications or what we discussed, I must say you, he's a wonderful human being. If you get an opportunity to, if you are in Hyderabad or if you are visiting Hyderabad, you must take this opportunity to meet him as well. And he was also a very, I would say, a great host to host me in Hyderabad as such. Siddharth, welcome to this, I won't say podcast, but this live YouTube session wherein we would be discussing about patent agent exam preparation.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Siddharth, just to start with, want to understand how did you actually, come to this area from a techie to patent agent as such? What made you to think of going for patent agent exam as such? And what was that thing that triggered basically that you should go for patent agent examination?
Yeah, a lot of people also asked me the same question. Some time back, I have a few advocate friends. They actually started suggesting that I should take up this exam because I don't know, for whenever we meet offline, we have a good chat, and then I was able to explain technical concepts in a very simple terms, and they would understand. So in one of such sessions, one of my advocate friends was casually suggested that there is so and so exam. Why don't you take it, and then let's see what happens. So that was the first time that I actually heard this patent agent exam. Then I started referring some books and all, and then yeah, that's how it started, I guess. Yeah.
So Siddharth, was this the first time you appeared for was it your first attempt when you appeared for the exam?
Yes, this was the first attempt. Earlier, I had applied, but for 100 different reasons, I could not take the exam. This is my first attempt. Yeah, full blown attempt. Yeah.
Yes, but then when did you actually start with the preparation? Because generally we know that the syllabus is not that big as such. So generally, how much time was it required for the entire preparation as such?
Yeah, even in the earlier 2022, I had started the preparation, but then I had to call off because of some personal reason. But then coming from a non-legal background, definitely I felt that understanding that legal terminology is a big challenge, because the if you go through the Bear Act, it is very challenging for any person coming from a non-legal background to understand. So I very seriously started my preparation from Jan 2023, because by that time the notification had already come out. Yeah, so Jan first week, second week, you can say. So 4 months, Jan, Feb, March, April, definitely, because if you are not from a legal background, you need the time to understand, to think through. So 4 months,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will say
You
is.
mentioned Siddharth three, four times the word legal actually, and being from a technology or science background,
Oh yeah.
how difficult or easy is to do you think it's easy for lawyers who are from science background, or do you think even a technology person or science person who doesn't carry any legal background can also easily do this as such? Patent
Anybody
agent
can
exam.
crack the exam. Okay, so you are seeing me, right? So I am 100% sure there are many other students who have qualified, who don't have any legal background. But if you have some legal background, you have an LLB degree, or you have done some PG diploma, then you have already read some Bear Acts. You know how an act sounds like. You know what are rules. You know what judgments are. How the sections are actually interpreted. So yeah, definitely that will help, but that does not itself give any kind of disadvantage to the students who don't have that kind of background. It will only take some time to get used to it, and I'm only saying, spend time. We need more time. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You also mentioned about two things. One was the Bear Act, and of course, you also mentioned about book actually. So, of course, throughout my classes, I've been recommending to refer to the actual act on the patent
Yes.
office website, act, rule, and manual. What was your experience, or I would say, how did you actually manage this part as far as the content of the patent agent exam preparation are concerned?
Okay, so from an exam perspective, okay, so before I start, I will only I would like to say that I will explain my side of the story. I will not be preachy. I will not say do this, do that. I will only say, I will only mention what worked for me, what was the strategy that I have adopted. Okay,
Yeah.
and students can draw their own conclusions.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing that I did was I referred to all the previous year's question papers, and and the exam pattern. So the first thing that we all come to know about when we go through the exam pattern is paper one, paper two, and interview. So definitely with 4 months in hand, you need some kind of strategy, right? So what I strategized was I divided my preparation into three parts. One is part one, the Bear Act rules, paper one, and 50 marks of paper two, the theory,
Yeah.
whatever questions are given. The second part was the drafting part, and the third part was the Viva. Okay, so in some YouTube channels, some others have kept suggesting that forget the Viva, first concentrate on clearing paper one, paper two. and then forget about Viva, which I didn't feel like it was the right thing, because after all, Viva is also part of your preparation, right? So for part one and part three, the theory and the Viva, I started preparing hand in hand. Of course, I didn't know what questions would be asked in Viva, and we don't have any kind of help on internet as well, because this is like not so popular exam. So, but one definitely one can easily guess that in Viva also they will be asking again from the Bear Act rules, probably the case studies, correct? So that and the drafting. Drafting needs a different kind of approach, because you have to go through at least 20, like you suggested in your classes. At least I read 20. I downloaded literally all mechanical product patents, and then I downloaded and I actually read them. So that will definitely help. And also, apart from that, I was also reading the FERs, the first examination reports given by the patent office, like what are the different kinds of, because if you see in the question at the 2022 paper actually surprised me a lot, because it was starting to move towards a more hands-on application oriented approach. So that was what was at the back of my mind. So and in classes also I was asking you, so in order to have some kind of practical information as to how the FERs are issued, and what are the grounds on which the FERs were issued, I was reading the patents, and I downloaded from the patent office website. So again, paper one and 50 marks of paper two, Bear Act, read it like thoroughly. That should be sufficient. And patent office manual. That manual they have issued, I think, in 2019. After that, they have not given any other version, or they have not released any other draft. Please read through. So Bear Act rules and manual. So these were the books that I actually referred. And patent drafting your course, and downloading the patents from the official website, and then going through them, both which were issued an FER, and the ones which were actually granted.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Siddharth, for mentioning it, or kind of summarizing it for all the things as it. You started with the YouTube channel actually, and let me also mention to the class, you're watching this via Pharmaliterate YouTube channel, and you have a lot of videos of patent agent exam preparation on this. And if you want to go beyond that, so there is one channel by Mr. Abhay Porwal. He's from Bangalore. I think he's from Techie. He's from tech domain. He's an engineer who conducts who has a lot of videos of patent agent exam preparation, and most of my students have actually accessed those videos as well. Siddharth, maybe if you have anything to add to this.
No, I have not watched those videos, so I cannot comment. So.
Okay. So okay, that's one thing. Now coming back to of course you mentioned about paper one, paper two, as well as the Viva was preparation as such. So how was it for paper one? Because the toughest question that each of the exam aspirant has, that sir, how to remember the section numbers or rule numbers as well. And in fact, that's the fundamental first question that every aspirant have when they start preparing for the patent agent exam, because the way it is structured is also very different. And I think if you can share your experience on this, that would really help all the students.
Yeah, I understand the pain, but definitely remembering all the sections, rules, subsections is not an easy task, definitely. But I and forms and fees. So let's not forget forms and fees also. The problem, yeah, definitely this problem every student who is preparing for the exam will definitely face. So one way that I tackled personally was first, without don't take I did not take the tension of first remembering everything. What I did was I first read the Bear Act page to page, and then leave it aside. Okay, and then because not only me, a lot of other aspirants have passed out of college long back. They all will be facing the same thing. We have lost touch with our regular college going. We are not the regular students who have the habit of sitting at least 2-3 hours a day and studying, right? So yeah, remembering is difficult, but I will tell you what strategy I have adopted. One strategy that I have adopted was I was solving all the situation based questions, the case studies. So when you start attempting those questions, take a pen and paper, write it down. Okay, because once you write it down on a paper, and then try to take the bare act and cross verify whether you have written the correct section, correct rule, correct subsection, correct forms and fees. If you write it down, you will definitely remember. If you keep by hearting, definitely there will be a loss of memory, because that is the human tendency, and then you will not remember. But once you have the get the practice of writing it down, and then you make a mistake and then you learn from the mistake. So that is when all the sections will be at your fingertips. This is one way. The other way is definitely I would suggest to make some kind of a chart. I made my own charts, and then you know keep revising them time and again.
Yes, absolutely. Is it necessary to remember rule numbers as well? How did you do that actually?
Yeah, I remembered the rule numbers because because right, in theory paper what happens is in paper one you have the answer in front of you. It's only a matter of choosing, but we'll come to that later. But in paper two, the more you write, the more you tell the examiner that you have put in that much more effort. I think you will fetch those marks. At least what I've done is I have written the section, subsection, rule, sub-rule, form and fees are both natural and corporate fees. So
You are making it very difficult for I would say everyone by
no,
saying, like, because honestly as a human it's very difficult to remember all the section numbers and rule numbers firstly,
it
and
is
there is always kind of jumbling then, like, section. And I'll tell you for your information, not for 2024 exam, but then the 2023 amendment that has come up for like, the patent rules, it has also included design
yes,
act as a part of syllabus now. And I believe once we have, it may not be there in 24, but once we have designs act for in the as a part of patent agent exam, it would again be really very difficult to kind of, I would say, remember the section, because you would have two acts and two rules actually to be remembered as such.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
but then I would say, to put it, remembering the important ones also would be a good, or I would say a balanced strategy as such, right?
Yeah,
Yes, yes. So this was for I would say for paper one, and generally, like, most of the participants, or most of the those who appear for the exam feel paper one is comparatively easier, and that is also visible with your own marks. You scored 89 in the paper one. Let's move to paper two now, and let's split it into two separate parts actually. The paper two first part, you already mentioned that like, you were actually solving the situational based questions as such. uh, like, so were these questions from the previous year's question papers?
previous year's question papers and the ones that you have on your YouTube, and then the ones we were discussing in our classes. Definitely situation, because if you see the pattern, even in 2023, all the 30-mark questions were situation based questions.
Yeah,
None of them were like
direct
straightforward
direct
questions
answer,
like
long answer. Yeah,
nothing. I think this will be the pattern going forward also. And even in paper one, if you observe, there were a lot of application oriented scenario based questions in 2 mark and 3 mark.
very true, very true.
Nothing like like our section 3, our famous favorite section 3. No direct questions.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I think that is going to be the way forward. So we have to buy hard, but at the same time, we also have to have that application oriented thing in mind.
Yes, absolutely, Siddharth. And to summarize what Siddharth mentioned, it is generally nowadays the exam paper would be such that it would be more practice oriented, and maybe it is meant for a practitioner as such.
Correct.
So if you are a two-prong strategy may help you as such. Of course, if you are attending any classes, just ensure that you are getting coaching from a practitioner like me, I would say. And
Yeah,
secondly,
yeah, definitely that helps. Right?
yes,
Yeah,
secondly, if you are not taking any coaching, basically, that point of time, just ensure that you are discussing with a practitioner. Now, there is a difference between a someone who is a patent agent and a practitioner. Reason being that uh, not all patent agents are practicing. Firstly, there would be a lot of patent agents who have the patent agent qualification. Even I had patent agent qualification in 2005, but I started practicing in 2017. Over last 6 years, I have started realizing the intricacies of the practice as such, and because again it's theory versus practice. And the question papers nowadays, as Siddharth mentioned, definitely paper 2 part 1 to hai, but beyond that, even in paper 1, there are a lot of questions which are situational based, or which are more meant for the practice as such. And that's where I think the real challenge is moving ahead with respect to the patent agent exam preparation as such. What about drafting, Siddharth? You come from a tech background. How difficult is to I would say adapt yourself to understand an invention from an outside domain, or let's say there is something from coming from chemistry or biotechnology, which is not your domain. How did you prepare actually? Of course, at the end of the day, in exam, we don't know what kind of invention would be asked. But how did you manage it while preparing the exam as such?
yeah, managing, yeah, drafting. Like I said earlier, also it's a different ball game. At least that's the way I started looking at it. Because legal, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a legal draft, correct? So, first of all, like I said, I started reading through all the approved patents and also the patents that were issued in FER. So that gave me a very basic understanding, like what are the different sections involved, and then you have to refer to the patent office manual. Very clear-cut instructions, like what needs to be written, and the grammar also. Okay, so that part definitely, and the other thing is, uh, I what I kept in mind was there is no such thing as a perfect draft in an exam. Okay, right? So the main objective is to mention all the sections that are there in the patent manual in the exam, and then at least if it is a 30-mark question, I should be scoring at least 20 marks. So that was my goal. And so when you start looking from that angle, then you will start realizing that FERs were issued for I was reading one invention. I downloaded that. It was a mechanical invention, and then I downloaded that. It was still in the process stage. They had issued the FER. The patent office had clearly mentioned that the entire claim, there was only one independent claim. Dependent claims plus independent claims, everything were there in only one claim. So the patent office had very clearly given in comments that you cannot have dependent claims also included in the independent claim. Correct. So
Yeah,
that's a very clear indication that you should have one independent claim. You should, the dependent claim should refer to the independent claim.
yep,
Correct. So
yep.
only, so these kind of mistakes, if you actually avoid, and if you start thinking like have an independent claim, you narrow down, and then you start writing dependent claims. So so that was a great learning for me, and I would suggest the exam aspirants also to actually start downloading and read why is a particular FER actually issued. Because even in the situational based questions, there are certain questions in previous year question papers which were asked like,
Absolutely.
this is the invention, this so this was the FER. As a patent agent, what will be your suggestion to the client, right?
Absolutely.
And then the FER, the actually practicing patent agents who have uploaded the answers to the FER are also available. So
Yes, absolutely. So
if you
everything is in
read,
public domain.
it's in public
All,
domain.
yes, all FERs
Yes, yes.
and their replies that we submit
Replies. Correct.
as an agent are available in the public domain.
Correct.
I have a fundamental question, Siddharth, for all this discussion. How did you select those specific application कि इसको पढ़ना है मैंने?
I don't know. I started searching mechanical. Uh, you have the search in abstract, right? In that abstract, I used to search for mechanical. I used to search for machine because I was betting heavily on product-based patents, and then I was hoping and praying that I will not get an opportunity to write the process patents because I'm not from a chemistry or a biotech background. But then, yeah, process patents you were teaching in the class, and then I was having a backup strategy, and I had one very basic format which I will use in case I had to use that in the exam, but fortunately that situation did not come. But then, yeah, so reading the manual, reading the actual patent applications that are filed, granted versus which are FER was issued, and then whatever you taught in class, blindly follow. That's it. End of story.
So, to put it in Sadhguru's language, actually, you were also banking on your
Oh,
karmic account,
yeah.
I would say that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you prepare or your domain actually, like,
yeah.
so patent agent exam is not only for about the preparation, it's also about you as an individual, आपका जो
Yeah.
भी karmic account है, your karma, I would say. And was your karma with you then in the exam that you actually got the
I
invention from your domain?
No, yeah, one was I think slicing and chopping device, and the other was that electronic cooker, or some electronic something cookerware. So I was very happy when I saw, and then I said okay. Though they were actually very lengthy also. If you had
Yeah,
observed,
absolutely.
it
Yes.
was taking like half an hour for me to just sift through the invention, and then I don't know how I managed, but I managed in the end, and they were very lengthy
Yes, absolutely.
is what I
So
feel.
before we actually go to the exam day, the D day now, I have one last question for you is about the case studies actually. Or like, how did
Yeah.
you prepare? Of course, we covered few case studies as such and
Oh yeah.
hypothetical questions. There are a lot of hypothetical questions on Pharma Literati YouTube channel,
Yes.
which are
Yes.
freely accessible to everyone.
Yes.
You can answer them on your own as such. But then how did you go through the case studies? Yeah, what case studies and is it really necessary to
Yes.
go through all the case studies that are available as such? Yeah.
I went through each and every case study. I told, right, I was writing them down, even though I was able to solve, I was not able to solve. I wrote them down, and then I was analyzing the situations, because going forward, I am pretty sure there will not be any direct questions like what are non-patentable inventions.
Absolutely, yes.
Those days are gone.
Yes.
2018 paper will never repeat. So it is like even
So
paper
very
one,
true,
paper
very
two,
true.
both.
You are bang on target because that's what has been experienced for us as well in last 2 years when we got, I would say, students like Siddharth who joined with us. More than 106 students qualified the patent agent exam in last 2 years from our classes as such. But then what we are seeing as such is the difficulty level is increasing every year actually, as well as we can see that the exam is getting more practice oriented or practical oriented rather than the direct questions as such. Okay. So Siddharth, let's move to the exam day actually. Of course, I'll be having some questions on Viva as well because I am more keen to understand that as such. But then, you just mentioned about the time management a bit
Oh yeah.
on paper two when the paper is lengthy. How did you actually practice throughout your preparation for writing? Because you're being a techie, you can type very fast, let's
Right,
say, or
yes.
like. But then, how about writing as such? How did you
Writing,
practice that?
definitely, I had started early. I was by Feb end, March first week, I had kind of finished off my syllabus, and then I was starting to attempt all the previous year question papers. So even right from 2000, I have downloaded all the question papers and I took print out, and there is a nice bundle with me, right? So so I would suggest start writing all the scenario based questions, and also I was attempting all the drafting questions.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So, were you actually writing on a paper
yes,
with pen?
writing pen and paper. Yes, I
How much
started.
time did you require actually to practice?
No, no.
Like कि जो exam तक आपका preparation हो जाए.
Initially, I was writing only for 15-20 minutes, so that at least I should start writing something on the paper, right? And then you will be surprised, whatever you have learned, you will not be able to recall, because naturally we have lost the habit of writing theory exams long back in college. So definitely, writing these case studies definitely helped me to recall, understand where I was not able to recall, going back, revising, right? So 15-20 minutes daily from March second week, third week, I had already started. But then from April, over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, definitely one full length exam. One,
So you were trying to
yeah,
appear for 3 hours exam as
3 hours,
such.
yeah, 2 to 5, because you have to train your mind to sit during that time, because you will have your lunch, you will be feeling sleepy, but then still you have to recall and write, correct? So and time management, how much time you are spending for a 30 marks question, how much time you are spending for 20 marks, how fast are you writing, were you able to recall, whether you are able to recall all the section, subsection, rule, subrule, form, and fees. So that is when your actual preparation will come to the fore. You will know where you are making mistakes. And the writing part, the purely the writing part, because like I keep saying, right, the last time, I don't know, I don't even remember what theory exam I have written in college. So definitely writing is the, otherwise people think that likhna hai to hai, but no, so that's not going to happen in the
Yes,
heat of
and
the exam.
it may be easier for youngsters who are,
Correct.
let's say, who have just left their education in
Educational year.
last 1 or 2 years. But for professionals,
Yeah,
working professional, if you have got a gap of 3 to 4 years,
correct.
it is really very difficult to write for long as such.
Yes, and
Uh,
time management, definitely. You should have at least an idea, like where to stop, how to manage your time. If like we were talking earlier, right? The this time the drafting questions were really lengthy. Even the 20 marks was so lengthy. And then if you make a mistake, you should also have the time to uh, come back, you know, adjust
yeah.
your answer, and then move on. So all these strategies you will be able to perfect only when you have started writing the actual mock
Master
exams.
sheets, mock exam. Siddharth, just one question is, since we are discussing this, of course, time management is more concerned to paper two as such. How did you attempt? Did you attempt that 5, 10, 20, 30 sequence or
Oh
30,
yeah,
20 or
30
30?
is like 30, 20, 10, 5.
So you attempted the 30 mark question first?
Yes,
That's the right strategy, and I think this is the one which I've been highlighting again and again for time management properly, because if you lose out on 5 mark question at the end, you're just losing 5 marks, that is 95 out of 95 you'll be getting. But if your 30 mark question is left, that point of time probably you are getting your marks out of I would say 70 instead of 19 or 95 answers. So 30, 20, 10, 5, that's how you attempted.
yes.
Right,
And
right, right.
very clearly, right, if you are unable to score 20 and 10, or 15 and 10, 50% marks in the drafting, your
Yeah,
exam is like gone.
absolutely. You are done with that. Yes,
So
yes.
bare minimum 50 तो आना ही है, that's it. 15 marks out of 30, 10 marks out of 20.
Yes, 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 absolutely. So, for all those who have joined us via YouTube channel, live via YouTube channel, you can have the questions asked in the chat box. We would be taking these questions at the end of the session one by one. And if there are any other suggestions as well or any other queries as well, you can put it in the chat box. We'll be taking all those questions. Okay, Siddharth, let's I would say uh, move ahead with the Viva part. Actually, of course, you cracked the I would say the theory exam so nicely that you had you not appeared for Viva, still you had already cracked the patent agent
Yeah,
exam. But what went wrong for Viva?
I don't know.
Because for me, I would say, if you have got really good marks in paper one, paper two, fundamentally we understand that conceptually it is pretty much clear for you the concepts about everything paper one and paper two. And in fact, if I look at the scores of other students in my class, we had really good marks in Viva. Of course, 38 is also a great score, I would say, but 38 was a great score in 22. 23 May, it was not that good score. What went wrong in Viva, Siddharth?
I had no clue. I think they asked me around 19 to 20 questions. It was like pretty long Viva. It was around 20-25 minutes. I think I went into the Viva room at around 5 o'clock in the evening, and then I was out at around 5:25, 5:30. So 25 minutes Viva. I think it went well, but then I don't know. Beyond that, I have no clue why they have given me that.
Yes, generally the Viva is honestly speaking, evaluating a candidate in such a short period of time and the knowledge that becomes a bit difficult even for someone who is actually taking Viva as well, firstly. And secondly, it is just not about the technical preparation, but how you present yourself.
Correct.
And I still remember when we met in Hyderabad, sitting on that seventh or eighth floor at the hotel. I had kind of bluntly pointed out few specific things probably which would have made you to score less. And one of the things that I had mentioned was, and of course that was on a lighter note, that Siddharth, you didn't appear for mock Viva at our class actually, and that may be one of the reasons you couldn't score much in the Viva as such.
No, it's okay. Whatever happens, happens. Karma is there. So
Yeah, I mean that you put it very aptly. I would say karma is there, and karma is at the end going to decide as such for your preparation as well as actually
no,
the
actually, the Viva, in my opinion, was very lively. They had asked me a lot of interesting questions on IT because they were surprised that after seeing a lot of pharma guys, and there were a lot of pharma guys, believe me. And then I was like a very pleasant change for them.
for them.
Yeah, your IT, yeah, IT, very good, very good. And then they started. I don't know, but what happened to that excitement while giving marks? But okay, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Anyway, I think see at the end what happens now. Maybe after some time, no one is bothered how much Siddharth scored. The only thing matters is whether you are a patent agent.
Yeah,
Have you got 150 marks or 208 or
it
209
doesn't
marks is
matter.
irrelevant basically. That's how I put it as such. But then since you scored really very high, we thought to have you on this podcast for today to just let everyone have that understanding. And I have got
Sure,
some questions in my chat box on
sure,
WhatsApp as well as the live YouTube. I
sure.
am taking this question from Govin: how to memorize the section with rules. Of course, we discussed this, but then
Yeah,
a bit repeat if you can, as well as how to connect the rules and sections. Did you kind of have any chart or something? Ki ye section connected to this rule as such.
yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, right? So each section has a, corresponding rule, a form, and a fees. If you have a form, definitely you will have a fees, or you will not have a fees. Correct. So, what I sincerely suggest is, in the Bear Act, whatever book that you are referring, note down the corresponding rules, forms of that particular section. So when you are revising, you will definitely know to connect to this. When you are reading that section, you will know that this is the corresponding rule, this is the form, and this is the fees. So I made I literally made some notes behind beside that section on the whatever white space was available. So that will definitely help. Or if you can if you have some notes, right, take a notebook, write it down in a notebook, and then keep revising. Other than that, I had no other. I have no other. I did in the same way. So I am giving you my what
Yeah.
I did.
Yes, yes, yes. So to make it easy, like, maybe generally when we speak of rules, if you go through the forms, it gives a direct connection between section numbers and rule numbers. So automatically, I think the forms are the ones, uh, वहाँ पे जो भी section numbers mentioned है and the rule numbers are mentioned, those are really very crucial as such for the patent agent exam, not only this time but generally as well. I have a question from Dr. Prabhakaran. He's from Coimbatore. He's asking you, Siddharth, give us some clue for not missing out right answers in paper 1 part C, multiple answer questions. Because I still remember a lot of students, even in our first mock test that we recently conducted, uh, like, students, they don't realize that they have to select all the correct answers. They are choosing the most correct answers. So give some clue or something how to manage this, that in the exam hall, for those last 10 questions of 3 marks in paper 1, when you have to select all the right answers. Yes, some clue in that case.
Yeah, clue is like, I think if you practice enough in previous question papers, you will not need this clue. Definitely, because 3 marks, they are like 30 marks. They are like the heart of the exam. And imagine you losing out 3 marks just because you are not picking the all the correct answers is like suicidal. You it's like your exam is gone. So again, attempting the previous questions, writing it under the time. I mean, if you're writing paper 1, please ensure that you take it in the morning 10 to 12, because you have to tune your mind in the 10 to 12 period. Your mind will tune to that. So that's what I'm saying. And the instructions are also there, right? If you read the instructions, I don't know if you can miss after that.
Perfect, Siddharth. Of course, we are live via Pharmalita YouTube channel, and we conduct this classes as well for patent agent exam preparation. Uh, did the mock test series that we conduct help you,
Oh
especially
yeah.
for the paper 1 part C?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was taking all the mock exams seriously. In fact, I scored very less marks in my
Mhm.
first mock because of all the silly reasons. It was like I was so dismissive. I said, "Ha, ye to hoga. Oh, it's okay, ye, okay." And then when I finally got the marks, I was like shocked. I said, "I know all these answers," and I started realizing that don't be dismissive. Respect the question. Like,
Absolutely, you must respect the question as well as, to some extent, you must respect the teacher as well,
oh
whom you are
yeah.
troubling at times. Okay, wonderful.
So
So,
don't be dismissive. If you are conceptually clear, take few more seconds to evaluate your correct. And one other thing I wanted to mention was the OMR, the object marker, whatever that answer sheet you get, you have to mark with a pen.
yeah,
So once you mark, you cannot unmark it.
yes. So you have to be very
Very careful.
careful.
Only when you are really sure, you have to mark it with a pen, because it is not like you are marking with a pencil. You have eraser, you will erase and then you will mark another option, correct? So, and this is problematic in the 3 marks question, where
Very
you have
true.
to choose more than one. If you have incorrectly chosen and then you are not sure, you are like, you lost 3 marks. It's like,
Absolutely. And it's either
so
3 or 0.
3 or 0. So please, I request all of you to be very careful while using your pen in while marking.
Siddharth, I have two questions coming from Sanjeev Thakur. I'll a bit reframe it actually. How did you prepare? You had friends, you had group. I know one of your
No,
friends for sure from Bangalore, whom we actually called
yeah,
up from Hyderabad. One of the advocates, I know Advocate Vinay Kulkarni. We
Vinayak
must
Kulkarni,
mention him as such here. But how did
yeah.
you prepare? Did you prepare on your own alone, or
On my
did
own,
group study help you actually?
group study, apart from the classes that I attended, nothing. There was nobody around me who, if I mentioned the word patent agent, they would say like, hey, what are you, I mean, what is that exam? And then I had to explain them for 5-10 minutes what the exam was. So I stopped mentioning it altogether. And then nothing. I only referred books, the
So that's why,
whatever.
that's as a techie you are saying. I'll tell you, I would say on a lighter note, when I say patent agent in to the people from pharma domain, they call me patient agent actually, because we are dealing with the healthcare or medical side
Healthcare,
as
yeah,
such.
correct.
Right, right. So
But group, if you have a group, definitely it helps. Have like weekly
it
sessions.
generally helps actually, and I
Yeah,
think for
generally, definitely.
when we are doing every weekend, like because it gives you different perspectives as such from individuals, perspective from people from different domains, I would say, with varied experience as such.
Correct.
Because when we had classes that point of time, we had fresher students, we had very senior people with 20 years experience as well as people from across the domains: chemistry, biotechnology, IT, mechanical, computer engineering,
Correct.
physics, life sciences, what. So that gives a different, because many a times as a teacher as well, I feel for example, if I am teaching something related to section 3K, I may not be in a position to put
Correct.
it in a proper way as such, but then I think it was the students who were kind of helping me understand it as such. Sanjeev also has one question, and I know that you won't disappoint me here to answer this particular question as such. So Sanjeev Thakur has a question: how helpful was the coaching? Give me genuine review, please. And I would say, for me, there is the clear cut conflict of interest to ask this question, because Siddharth is my student, and I am confident that he won't disappoint me as a teacher. But beyond that, just as he rightly mentions, give a genuine review or an unbiased view, Siddharth. Yeah.
Yeah. So genuine review is what I'm giving. Drafting, definitely, because the primary reason I joined Vijay sir's tutorial was to learn drafting. Drafting, I didn't have any clue like how I would be clearing those 50 marks without. I had no clue, right? So when and Vijay sir actually makes you write them in the classes. So that is when all your fears, your initial inhibitions, they go away. And then after that it is you are on your own. But then that initial hurdle, those initial questions, doubts, the format, how you are supposed to maximize your score, I blindly, bluntly, without giving second thought, I followed his advice. So this much I can say. Rest all, it's okay. You refer to some books, you refer to previous year question papers, this and that, you will somehow manage. Then the drafting, if somebody teaches you genuinely, it helps you. Your questions, you will get a lot of questions while you are drafting on your own. But then somebody sitting there trying to help you, making you right, that really made the difference.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. I was anticipating this answer coming from you, but
No,
then
no,
I would,
that is
I
that
would,
is the real thing. I
yeah,
am
yeah.
not
I would like to ask you
exaggerating.
one thing. You've been a part of the classes. We have been in touch, and fortunately, post the exam, when you cracked the exam, we had that opportunity to meet as well. And I would say, I must confess it again that you were a great host as such the other day when we met in Hyderabad. But then the question is, can you tell me any one thing to to the process that we follow as pharma literati or radio literati when I'm conducting my classes? Of course, there is always a scope to improve actually. Can you tell me any one thing ki Vijay sir, aap ye class mein you did do this thing as well in your class which may help the students as such, which was, I would say, kind of lagging in the class, which may be really beneficial for the students from your perspective?
No, let me answer this in a two-part thing. One is the patent drafting. I have no complaints. because I don't see it being done better in a different way. Like that much time it has to be spent. Students literally have to sit, write, figure out, and then they have to write it, right?
Yes, yes.
So that part is done. I have no problem there. The other thing is like the other classes can be a little bit more compressed. They're a little bit lengthy, and then more mock tests. Definitely more mock tests. Yeah,
Yep,
that's all.
yep, yep. I think the compression part, maybe I should think on it, because and that would also help me, because compared to 23 patent agent exam preparation, now fortunately with your blessings, or I would say with all students blessing, we are doing really good, and I'm actually having lesser time because of the practice that we are into as such. So
That's a good
I would
call to have,
definitely
sir.
love to compress it, and definitely seek your help as well in that.
Yeah,
Ki how can we actually compress it in a proper format, so that
correct,
it doesn't lose out the core structure of the
correct.
course that we actually have, and it
And
doesn't.
one other thing, sir,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but then few other actual court case, whatever the Supreme Court has given and High Courts have given, landmark judgments, if you can add three or four, because I don't know, they have not asked me, they have asked me in Viva as well about section
absolutely,
3K.
yes.
3K, what are the landmark judgments in 3K? Because I was from a computer science background. Fortunately, I remembered that Yahoo versus, and then I answered that. So, landmark judgments, at least for three or four sections, which can come in Viva, definitely that will help. So you can think about it to add into the course. Some areas can be definitely, they can be compressed. More mock tests,
More mock
definitely.
tests that we have already taken care, so kind of we are trying to have mock tests. We just finished with the first one.
Oh,
We
good,
still have,
nice.
I think we are in October. The exam is scheduled for
Yeah,
first week
Jan.
of January as such. The date is announced, and so we have just started with the preparation as such. Thank you so much, Siddharth. It was really good to have you on this wonderful Sunday evening as such. I have a lot of students who have also joined in via live YouTube channel as such, and of course, I'll be sharing this link with you. This video would be available for everyone for the preparation. At any point of time, you can also get in touch with us through Pharma Literati YouTube channel. Also, there are a lot of questions, situation-based questions, previous year's question papers answer, mock lectures available on the YouTube channel. Also, I would like to end up this talk with the announcement. Of course, it's already in the public domain. We're starting with our new batch on 3rd of October. This is the second batch for patent agent exam preparation 2024, wherein we are open for the applications for that. Only 10 to 15 students we may accommodate now at this point of time. It would involve all the mock tests, paper 2 preparation, paper 1 preparation. Will be providing you with the charts as such for paper 1 and paper 2. It would also involve the mock Viva preparation as well, which Siddharth had missed out. I still remembered it actually. And of course, some kind of practice as such. Beyond that, I would say we are also the way we are working as organization, Patlix Business Solutions. We are also exploring the last year students who worked with us, or those who kind of, I would say, trained at our classes, in future can join us, collaborate with us for their practice as such, and that's how the ecosystem we can actually go. Thank you so much, Siddharth. Once again, it was really a pleasure to have you for the first time. There is you always there is always a first time in your life, and I'm very happy that your first ever podcast via YouTube Live was with me. Although you were, again, to conclude it, kind of a troubling kid you were. What was that? I would like to know actually at the
I
end.
had a lot of questions and nobody to ask. You were there, so I started asking, and then I don't know what happened.
No,
I
but
still
then
have many more questions. So
you still have many more questions. So we are definitely going to meet very soon, either in Mumbai or Hyderabad,
yeah, sure,
Siddharth.
sure, sure.
A very, I would say, thank you so much for taking out time, as well as providing all your insights. And I really wish you all the best on in your professional career ahead, as
Thank
well as in your personal life, because I see that it was just not a teacher or a student kind of relationship that we had, especially once we met, actually, and it was a different kind of, I would say, association that will definitely nurture for long as well. Thanks, Siddharth.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank you,
take
sir.
care.
Thanks for giving the opportunity, and all the best to all the students who are appearing for 2020.